Hey, Pastor Ray Barnett here with you. Glad that you could be with me here on the Oasis. Excuse me, and as always, I wish you a good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on what time you're watching this broadcast. As you can probably see, it is an absolutely gorgeous day here in upstate New York. And there are about as many leaves now, about half, on the ground as there is on the trees, and it's just wow, it's just an amazing sight. Fall, I told you, has always been my favorite season. It is for many people. The only problem where we live here is that you know what's coming right behind it. Winter. Oh well, nothing in this world is perfect. Sitting here in nature as I do, and again, once the weather really starts to get colder, we'll be indoors. But sitting here in nature as I do each day when I bring you these broadcasts always paints a picture of, well, tranquility and serenity. And if you'll notice in nature, all of God's nature, everything is in order. And everything flows in a pattern, in a rhythm. If you know anything about art, whether it's painting, drawing, or music, it's supposed to imitate nature. Art, in theory, similar with music, it's supposed to imitate nature. That's the theoretical goal. And we want our lives also to have the type of order in it that we see in nature. As I've told you several times, the only thing out of order in the universe is us. So, people, today I want to just bring to your attention the subject of burnout. How do you know if you're starting to burn out? What are the symptoms? What are the signs, and how can you prevent it? That's my theme today, preventing burnout. Now, for some of you, it may already be, I may already be one day late and $1 short because you're already burnt out. But I'll try to address it as much as I can, having burnt out in my life on more than one occasion. So I'm experienced at that. 1991. I was in the pastorate up here in upstate New York, Amsterdam, New York. I was having great success in the ministry. People were coming from all over the place. Church was filling up quick. I was doing 3 services a day, Sundays, 6 a.m. prayer meetings every day of the week, except Saturdays. I was playing music, singing, praying, preaching, teaching, studying for hours at a time. We were having more children. Eventually we'd have 5 altogether. And I remember one afternoon just trying to take a rest, and sitting over the side of my bed. It was a day similar to today, a very sunny day. I remember the sunlight was coming through the window, and I just could not figure out why I felt so depressed. Now keep in mind that up to that point, everything in the ministry was going exceptionally well. It wasn't bad times. And there's the trick, one of the tricks that you need to learn, that you can burn out. Let me say it this way. Good stress can be just as detrimental as the bad stress. So a divorce is bad stress. A death in the family, grief, is a bad type of stress. But let's say you're having a lot of success in your life, busy all the time, always on the go, working. When I burnt out, I burnt out several times, but never as bad as 1991. I was only 37 years old. I was a young man. And I couldn't figure out what I just told you. Just never occurred to me that in the end, stress is stress. I'll give you an example. Met a young man who is very much like myself in this respect, very enthused about working out. He even said to me, he says, I used to go to bed at night just thinking about my workout in the morning, which oddly enough is exactly what happens to me. I go to bed saying, oh, tomorrow's leg day or tomorrow's chest day or get to do deadlifts or whatever. And then he began to tell me, that was just this week, just 3 days ago. He said, I stopped being enthused about my workouts. I had no energy. They weren't fun anymore. I wasn't enjoying it, and so on and so forth. So what I said to him was, it was pretty easy to figure out that he had been overtraining. At the same time, he was dieting a lot and trying to get himself down to very, very low body fat and on and on. And so, he had already figured it out. He said, I'm just taking a break for a couple of weeks. I'm not going to the gym. I said, well, that's a good idea, but what you've done is you've overtrained. So what is that? What is overtraining? It's the body is not recovering. It's being stressed in the gym, right? Just one example. Being stressed in the gym with lifting and whatever else he was doing. And then he had a combination of a low-calorie diet and not enough carbohydrates and so on. So that, in effect, he burnt out from good stress, something he enjoyed. That's why I brought you the example. So that's very difficult to pick up on sometimes because everything's going well. But energy is energy. And if you're using energy, whether it's over some grief or some problems, or you're using up energy in a good way, just doing good things, whatever. Energy is energy. Did you know that in life, if you make, like if you're your own boss and you have to make the schedule, or just in life in general for people, so, I mean, some of you may have a formal way of planning. I always have. I have to. But I would do it anyway because I just geared that way. You're not really managing time as much as you're managing energy. Now, at this stage of my life, I don't mind telling you, around 7 o'clock at night, I'm fried. I am fried. I'm toast. So that's when I'll just sit with my dog and just try to take it easy and have my own routine, a routine that I stick with, very disciplined. I live a very disciplined life. And try to get into bed around 9. I don't go to sleep at 9. I do some various things for an hour and a half or so. About 10:30, I'm ready to turn out the lights, go to sleep. And I always sleep well. Thank God, I always sleep well. But we talked about that, by the way, on this broadcast, how to put yourself to sleep when you wake up at night. Talked to a friend of mine the other day as well. So he was up every hour, and there's tricks that we've discussed on before. So if you hunt through some of these videos I've done, you should be able to find the one I did on how to sleep, how to put yourself to sleep, how to keep yourself asleep, even if you're stressed or overly tired. Anyway, what are the signs? Well, you start to lack energy, you start to lack enthusiasm. I'm kind of lumping bad stress and good stress together just to say stressed, you're stressed. And the body is using up energy, easy enough concept, to understand that. And it's not replenishing. Maybe you're eating too little. I don't think in America eating too little is most people's problem, but could be. We all know that when we're stressed, people eat too much. But it could be, it could be in your diet, yes. You're not replenishing the nutrients your body has used up and maybe now depleted of, vitamins, minerals, water. And don't forget about oxygen. Oxygen means breathing is the number one nutrient in the body that you need. Think of it this way. You can live a few days, maybe, I don't know how many days you can live without water and how many weeks you can live without food, but you're not going to live but a couple minutes without oxygen. So keep that in mind. So you're starting to feel tired, you're feeling weary, and you're starting to feel weary and tired more and more. And you're getting weary earlier and earlier. You're starting to feel weepy. The joy of life is gone. The enthusiasm for your hobbies, for things that you enjoy is not there. The marriage, the family, Well, the list goes on, and there's just no life there. Now, let me just say this, which maybe you could figure this out on your own. Jesus didn't come to burn us out. In ministry, pastors are burning out at an alarming rate because of the amount of needs and demands that go with this calling. Pastors are burning out and quitting the ministry because of the burnout. They're burnt out. They just can't go on. So if you have some of these signs, it may be indicative of not just the general depression that you've dealt with in the past or anxieties that you've dealt with in the past, but you're burning out. So what do you do? Well, I have mentioned to you in the past, when you are tired, your mind, the body, both, there is no substitute but to rest. Let me give you an example. I was solicited some time ago to go into a powerlifting contest and to compete with other men my age because of some of the numbers I've been able to put up. But the reason that I haven't is because I know in order for me to train for to win, you don't train to lose. To actually win a contest, I got to play by the rules, which means I can go to the gym, got an intense workout on Monday. I got to take Tuesday and Wednesday off and go back Thursday and then take Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. And I just like working out. I like being in the gym, so I don't want to do it. And I have overtrained before, which is a type of burnout, so I got that experience as well. You have to play by the rules. When your body's tired, when the mind is tired, there is no substitute, but that you have to rest. And the thing that you want to avoid is that you burn out to the degree that you have to be medically treated. Now, on a show that's dedicated to anxiety and depression, nervous ailments, nervous symptoms, and mental health issues, where does burnout play a part? Well, there are some of you who absolutely live in burnout because of the principles that you are not applying. The rules. You're not playing by the rules, right? So I pointed out nature. Nature is set by laws, by principles. Law and principle, same thing. So everything flows in a natural order. You don't see nature burning out. Everything just keeps flowing along. But in life, we often burn out because we're violating certain basic principles, of which, once again, is a good night's rest, taking time off when you really should be taking time off every week. Sunday, Jesus said that the Sabbath was made for man, right? For us, that's Christians, that's a Saturday. That's a Sunday, Old Testament Saturday. And God says, work for 6 days. On the seventh day, no work. No work for anybody. Why? Because it was made for us, because we need it. Well, the principle applies all the way through. You need rest, you need a good night's sleep, you need proper nutrition. If you don't know much about nutrition, either read some books, go to some articles, YouTube channels, or see a nutritionist, see your medical doctor. Also, you have to, some of you know some of you who know me, and then some who I just told you, I've been a rudimental drummer for 58 years. And I was a New York State champion when I was 13. And if you play a song, you're the drummer, and you're picking up that tempo, people can't sing. The pace is too fast. In America, we live in a very abnormal, at least in my opinion, we live in an abnormally hectic, chaotic pace. And the expression "time flies," and it's a bad news, good news joke. The bad news is that time flies. The good news is that you're the driver. That's pretty clever. Well, it's the same with your life. You don't want to burn out. You've had nervous symptoms and depression in the past to begin with anyway. And if you overdo things, you're definitely going to burn out. Your symptoms are going to increase. And you could snowball down into a major setback. Or just find yourself in the position I was, how many years? 31 years ago, when I burnt out, and I burnt out in a big way. My problem, once again, it wasn't bad stress. It was good stress. I just didn't know the difference. Believe me, I do now. So, little pointers here on burnout. Listen, and anything that I give you on these little broadcasts is not exhaustive. It's just so much to say. But I try to keep them short so that they're doable and manageable for you. But these are the things that you want to avoid. You're starting to feel very tired all the time, cranky, irritable, losing your temper, everything bothers you, you don't enjoy anything. Well, those are the signs of burnout. How do you fix it? Well, one step back from actually needing counseling, which you may, and then these broadcasts, which I hope to help you, make sure you're getting proper rest. Make sure you're getting proper nutrition. Make sure that you're keeping a pace that's doable. Don't let others control. Like I said, there's jokes about drummers. I mean, drummers that play on a kit. That guitarist, the pianist, singer may say one thing, and drummer just says, "I don't care. I'm the drummer." Well, the drummer has a lot to do with the pace and tempo, or what we call the pulse. Your pulse normally is 72 beats a minute for average. Mine's low. But you don't want things to be too fast. So just a couple pointers, just to mention this subject to you, give you some little pointers, that's all. Be careful of burnout. If you think that you're burnt out, now begin to slow down, slow everything down. I slow my body down physically. I mean, I don't walk fast. They tell me walking fast is a sign of success and all this stuff. I've never seen it that way. All the confident people I've ever known have a nice pace about them. There's a kind of an authority, kind of a nobility that goes with confidence, self-confidence. Well, not for us. Confidence for us is confidence in God. All right, that's enough for today. If you'd like to hear more about burnout, just leave me a comment. Think you're burning out, let me know. I'll pray for you. But let me pray for you now and ask God to help you. Help my friends, Father, not to burn out. If they are burnt out, refresh them, renew them, help them to take simple, common sense steps and not to be manipulated into keep on going and keep on pushing before it can get very bad. In any case, give them peace. And I pray this in Jesus' name. Amen. Okay, as always, I invite you to subscribe to the channel. If you're not subscribed, hit the notification button. I also exhort you that have been watching and do enjoy these broadcasts, share them with people. There's tons, millions of people need help in the area of nervous symptoms, anxieties, and depressions, all right? So subscribe, hit the notification button if you want to, and then also share them for those of you who are getting something out of these broadcasts. The weather looks good for the weekend, so God willing, I'll be with you here again tomorrow on the Oasis, and until I see you tomorrow, don't forget, let the peace of God rule in your heart. God bless you. Lord willing, I'll see you here again tomorrow on the Oasis.